Maybe a round of applause just to, yes.
Thank you, guys. Very exciting to be with you today. So I'm Pascal. I'm head of startup programs at Scaleway. And today we'll be talking about sustainability. So a few weeks ago, I was chatting with a member of the Great Tech Alliance, who is also a friend, who was telling me that to limit global warming by 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030, the target set by the Paris Agreement, we need to reduce our carbon emissions by 45%. This is everybody's problem, including startups, who are also a big part of the emissions. Each year, the internet and its supporting systems produce 900 million tons of CO2, carbon dioxide. That's 1 to 2% of total emissions, a similar global impact to that of deforestation. So it's up to us, the tech sector, to find solutions to limit that impact. I know what you are going to say. We love to help the environment, but we have our bills to pay, we have salaries to pay. And it's more important than the planet, or it comes first. But our experience shows that you can save money while saving energy. For example, the fact we have Europe's most energy efficient data center, called DC5, not only means we help save the planet, but also reduce our electricity bill by up to 40% compared to a standard data center. Indeed, as our founder, Arnaud de Birmingham, would say, the best way to save energy is not to use it. We also upcycle up to 80% of our servers, meaning they last for 10 years instead of the industry standard of 3 to 5, thereby saving money by buying less hardware and drastically reducing trash. But what difference can you make as a startup, and why should you? Think about this. Responsibility and sustainability are the key values of the next generation. And that trend is just getting started. For example, green tech startups are expected to grow by 27% by 2024. So if your company cannot prove it's sustainable, not only it will not attract new talents or clients for that matter. Then there is a regulatory aspect to it. From January 2023, the new European laws companies with more than 250 employees will have to measure and report their emissions. That might not apply to your startup now, but the law will also apply to any company with more than 20 million euros in revenue. Hypergrowth startups today will fall into this category tomorrow. So it's easier and strategically smarter to start now. So what can you do to reduce your startup's carbon footprint? You could start by checking that you are using a responsible cloud provider. The global cloud market's value is set to grow from 53 billion in 2020 to 560 billion in 2030, according to IDC. That's a tenfold factor. This surging growth, combined with the equally pressing climate emergency, means there is a rush on the part of many data centers to label themselves as energy efficient. This can lead to potentially dangerous practices such as excessive reliance on air conditioning, which accounts for up to 40% of data centers' energy consumption, but also wasteful use of water for cooling. Some data centers in Holland, for example, use 2 million cubic meters of drinking water per year. Scaleway's message is clear. These practices must disappear. For the cloud's environmental impact to truly be energy efficient, it's not only about limiting consumption, but above all, ensuring that we are consuming renewable energy sources throughout our production chain. So why not start by asking provider if it tracks power usage efficiency, like we do? This widely used metric is a ratio between the amount of energy supplied to a data center and the energy used by its servers. So for example, a PUE of 2.5 would mean the data center needs 2.5 watts of energy for its computers to consume 1 watt. Although Scaleway has one of the lowest PUEs in the industry, we could never say it's one, because it would mean that we don't even turn the light on. Our DC5 data center's current PUE is 1.18, compared to the industry average of 1.58. This is what makes it Europe's most energy efficient data center. But not only that, it also consumes 90% less water compared to standard data centers. This is why you should also ask your cloud provider if it tracks water usage efficiency, WUE, as well as PUE. But don't get your hopes up. A globally agreed and tracked standard for data centers, water consumption, is sadly lacking at the moment. This is problematic because the two metrics are linked. Some cloud providers achieve lower PUEs by using excessive amount of drinking water to cool their facilities. By excessive, we mean the amount of 33,000 people consume in terms of water per year is used to cool some data centers annually. That's why Scaleway is currently leading the way in raising awareness of the importance of water consumption and pushing for regulatory changes as laws differ per country. We have called for a ban on cooling towers in our industry and are working towards a new standard measurement which factors in both water and energy consumption. Why? In France, cooling towers are prohibited due to Legionella risk. Legionella is this little bacteria that can poison people. And elsewhere, they are not. And are as such frequently used by some cloud providers. For example, in North Holland region, 5 planned new data centers would consume 10 million cubic meters of water per year, on top of the 4.6 million meters currently used by the 2 major data centers in the same region. That means enough water for more than 200,000 people per year. That's like 1/3 of the population of Wrocław, or to fill 3,700 Olympic swimming pools. So if your cloud provider provides unsatisfactory PUE and WUE ratings, or worse, if they provide no such information at all, leave. Or rather, check which type of your data could be moved elsewhere. To do this, there are 2 conditions. You are not locked in by your current provider with an exclusivity clause, or your data is interoperable, meaning compatible with other providers. You should be able to transfer at least some data to others, more sustainable providers. The multi-cloud approach is another of our areas of expertise, Scaleway's area of expertise. Moving beyond the cloud, you could check your company's carbon neutrality objective here. Is there anything you can do to advance it? Or why not get involved in the digital cleanup movement? Your data, such as emails or applications, is stored on servers, which means using electricity to run. If you delete unneeded data, you save energy. That's why all individuals and organizations are welcome to sign up to join the digital cleanup movement, which runs until March 2022. So why not join with your startup? Then there are code sobriety audits. Are you sure your company doesn't use too many lines of excessive complex code and therefore use more energy? Companies like Fruger can help by studying this aspect in detail. And you can change your developers to write leaner, faster, Then you can challenge your developers to write leaner, faster code, thereby lowering your company's cloud cost and impacting the planet less, obviously. why not organize a green dev hackathon, for example? We know that developers, they love to compete. Get them to do it for a good cause. And finally, look around. Can you also work with local association, non-profit, to give back to your neighborhood and help drive the circular economy? Stuck for ideas? Let's dive a bit deeper into what's innovative about Scaleway's approach to sustainability and what you can learn from it. We are an alternative European cloud provider, carbon neutral by default and powered by 100% renewable energy. Furthermore, we are proud to repeat our DC5 data center is the most energy and water efficient in Europe. This achievement is thanks to a technique used by ancient Egyptians. Yes, we know there is no such thing as pure innovation. Called the adiabatic process, it takes air from outside the building, then cools it through a wet membrane of paper. It's a little bit the same idea that during summer when it's warm and you moisturize yourself and you put yourself in front of the fan and you feel cool. This way, we can select the ideal temperature for our servers. And by the way, servers can work at up to 30 degrees Celsius. Most cloud providers keep theirs at 20 degrees. And with 2200 sensors checking the servers every 17 milliseconds, we can rest assured each one is getting exactly the energy and the level of cooling it needs. Not to mention the fact that as our data center is located in a temperate region, like the Paris area, where the average annual temperature is only 12 degrees Celsius. This incredible technology only needs to be used for part of the year. Free cooling is fine the rest of the time. This way, DC5 needs little to no air conditioning. That's how it consumes 30 to 40% less energy than a standard data centers, not to mention 90% less water. No cooling towers required. Perhaps most surprisingly, as our CEO, Yann Lechel, would say, DC5 wasn't conceived to be green. It was conceived to be efficient. DC5 sustainability is driven as much by the need to save money as it is by the need to save planet's resources. And it works. Last but not least, Scaleway is a key player in the circular economy. Our technicians maintain and repurpose our servers to last up to 10 years, rather than the industry standards 3 to 5, thereby reducing tech waste. We even dedicate specific R&D to create time to creating our own tools to test and reformat servers, so they can be more easily reused later. Once servers' 10 years of services are up, we work with an association called LOXI, a non-profit called LOXI. LOXI employs disadvantaged youth who ensure the computer's key components are reused, either to resell, rebuild, or repurpose machines. So we give back to society too. And here's how the circular economy works. 70% of decommissioned servers is reused in our data centers. 9% is destroyed and its raw materials are recycled. 21% is given to LOXI, of which 50% is reused in other machines, and 50% is destroyed and its raw materials are recycled. So all in all, over 80% of our machines are reused. To conclude, as you can see, all the examples I've given are both good for the environment and for our business. My advice, if you are looking to do something similar, think differently, think innovatively, and think as much about the environment as about your bottom line. Because if you get it right, your activity can flourish precisely by limiting its impact on the planet. And if you need any help to make that happen, feel free to ask. Thank you.